Crime.
Let's get it together.
Education.
Let's get it together.
Marriage.
Let's get it together.
Politics.
Let's get it together. Full circle.
Poverty.
Let's get it together.
Race.
Let's get it together. Full circle. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Full Circle Podcast Show, episode number 16. I am Darryl E. McCullough, the Sanepoet, along with Rashone Bryant, Afrikan Caesar. And as always...
I thought I changed my name. So I want to make sure we got this correct. So I'm not just replacing the character, I'm just keeping the name, right? Like, so I'm not A-Wit. You know how they changed Aunt Vivian on the Fresh Prince?
No, you are your own person.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, we'll give an explanation on that.
I'm confused.
But as always, we are joined with the talented professional and Toledo's best kept secret, Carmen Miller.
Hello, everybody. So we're getting ready to get into another fun and exciting show from the perspective of a liberal, conservative, and independent state of mind. Today's topic was picked by our special call-in guest, actor, writer, director, and entrepreneur Kenny Young. Kenny chose for us to discuss the topic of what it takes to be successful in business, entrepreneurs to corporate, and he'll be joining us later in the show and give us some encouraging and insightful aspects into the business world.
However, before we begin, we have an announcement.
Yeah. It's ironic that we have this is our business episode.
Yeah.
That the Full Circle Podcast Show, we have to alert you and announce to you some changes in our business.
Okay.
Where, with anything, it's difficult. You have your ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and we are not immune to that. So our good friend of the show, Rashone Bryant from the Sneaker Box Podcast, who has been a reoccurring guest,
Yes.
no longer will be a reoccurring guest. We want to welcome him full time to the Full Circle Podcast Show.
Afrikan Caesar is now
What's up? I'm sorry, I was sitting there trying to look studious.
a host.
I was writing random things. See what I wrote, right? I'm just writing random things on there. Doesn't mean anything.
Rashone is one of our hosts now, and we want to welcome him here. He will be replacing A-Wit, who will be missed, and we appreciate everything he's contributed so far to the show. But I wouldn't call it a peak or a valley. I think that we are on the steady uptick for the show. I think this is going to bring a whole new kind of aspect to the show, a whole new kind of perspective. I think we're going in the right direction. I think it's cool.
Absolutely. And I told Rashone that, it's not new. He's been here before. So
Yes.
It's more so like a comfortable pair of shoes. It's a small pair of shoes, like a size 8, size 9. But
That's not what.
You a child molester? What?
He got small feet.
You wear a size 16 and you're talking about size 8 and 9 shoes. Like, I'm confused about
So
where this was going.
We got a new logo. We got a new
Yes.
banner. And we got public appearances in the future. So
Yes.
it's about to get.
We're about to take the show on the road.
Oh yeah, we about to.
But you know what? Just to make sure that everybody knows that this is basically a continuous effort to make sure that we're bringing you the very best of what we have to offer. And as far as the perspective of what we do, Rashone is going to hold nothing back when it comes to his point of view.
That's true.
And in terms of the back and forth between him and Darryl.
I wish we would recorded the car ride over here, and that would have been crazy.
Wow. Well,
I'm sure I'll be playing referee.
Absolutely, as always.
So let's get right into the show and what's going on in the world. You've got some current events that we really, really need to talk about.
Well, I guess we can sum it up real tight because to get up to date, of course.
This has been jam-packed.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so many things going on. Okay, we all know on the BET Awards that the humanitarian award was given to Jesse Williams, and I call him the biracial man who picked a side.
He is a biracial angel.
you know,
Just-
and his controversial speech dealing with police brutality.
Press pause real quick. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Okay.
He's a mulatto saint.
I'm just gonna say this. If anybody got anything bad to say about Jesse Williams, I would jump you.
Okay, well,
I'm
when
just
you
saying.
say that,
Okay, no, okay, go back to what you were saying. Okay, go back.
no, she left that cliffhanger there. Like, I mean, does it depend what you say bad
No,
about
I'm
it?
just saying.
Like, if I was the
I think
his
just calling him
light-skinnedness-
the biracial man who picked a side, you know, because I always thought, like, what does a biracial, when you're in an interracial
you
relationship
can't really, you don't.
and you have children and that child picks a side.
Oh my God!
So his father was glowing. His father was glowing through that whole
yeah.
speech.
Oh, his father was
but
dead?
his mother was kind of like, "Oh,
No,
you're getting real
but
black.
here,
You're getting real heavy
here's
here.
the
It's
thing,
real
though.
thick."
You know, you can't help but pick a side because you are what you are. I'm just gonna put it out there. You know,
No.
at the end of the day, you know, Jesse Williams. And
She just did that symbol. Please don't.
this is not the first time
don't-
that he's made a statement in terms of being, you know, anti-brutality. This is a thing that really bothers me. People equate anti-brutality with being anti-police. Those are two different things.
I agree.
My father is a police officer, and he's anti-brutality. Okay, so you can be anti-brutality without being anti-police.
I go
So
with that.
I feel like people are confusing those two issues,
Well,
and they're
this is-
making it racial when it doesn't have to be, because brutality happens. Brutality happens to pretty much every race, but it happens by and large to races who cannot don't have the legal avenues to protect themselves.
Right.
So when you see it's disparagingly or more often happening to minorities, and that's what he was speaking to.
Well, it was just ironic that after his speech, we had 2 killings. Then, of course, what has happened today?
Yeah.
3 more policemen were killed.
So what? Okay, so let's give the timeline. So you had the Baton Rouge incident,
Right.
where the gentleman was executed, selling CDs.
They didn't say executed. The news is saying when he died.
The
They're not calling it a
videotape. He
killing.
was
Semantics.
Yeah.
shot in the head.
Tomato,
on video.
tomato. Executed
Okay. So we had that happen. Then you had the gentleman who is legally licensed to carry in Minnesota, who is, what did they call that? Murdered. Then you had the
Yeah, didn't they indict the cops? Or
that was
Did they?
called murder, and
Yeah.
I mean the governor called it.
I think they
murder.
charged it. Yeah.
Then you've got the Dallas incident where you had a peaceful protest in which you saw the police early on interacting with the
Right.
protesters
Right.
in a peaceful manner, and then you had the sniper, quote unquote, killing police officers. Where there were like 5.
And quiet as kept, some people are calling him a martyr.
Hold that down.
I'm gonna need some more
I'm saying
facts
that-
and information.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna need a
they're
quote on
saying
that. I'm gonna
that.
need
It's
somebody
not
to quote
that
it.
There's
you
some
know,
theories floating around there.
I mean, I have a conspiracy theory that I'll float a little later. But then you've got this Baton Rouge incident this morning where these black masked assailants.
Right.
Here's the thing. Okay, now mind you, I don't think that violence meeting violence is the answer. That is not the answer.
Right.
That's not sweet. It's not cool. It's wrong. Period. From every end, violence from every end is wrong. I'll say that unequivocally. But here's where we're at an impasse in history. Historically, the messaging has always been comply, don't resist. Okay. From all the way back in 1600s,
Right.
don't resist, comply. We want you to be docile. We want you to be, easy to handle. Okay, so you've got this new generation that's coming up, and they don't want to comply. They don't want to be docile. They won't go quietly into that good night. Okay,
Right.
So this is where you're seeing people resisting the status quo in ways that are not effective.
Do you know why this new generation is like that?
Oh, I'm scared to ask.
And I would think also old generation to a certain degree, because I spoke about this on the Michael Dean podcast.
Okay.
And I said, emotionally involved.
Okay.
And when I was, a lot of people come to me with their relationship problems, believe it or not. Okay.
Why?
And I'm able
Why?
to, because I don't know, I'm able to solve their problem because
They just figure the advice you give them to do the complete opposite, right?
No,
So
I am able to look at their problem because I am not emotionally involved.
I
When you're
would say that
emotionally
from like
involved,
an analytical,
you can't think.
like let's say it's from
Okay.
an analytical standpoint. Okay,
Now-
I get it.
You actually
Okay.
believe him?
What
You
happened
believe him
was,
right now?
I'm being objective. I'm being benefit of the doubt. That's what I do.
on
lot of doubt
the
over doubt.
on the very serious note, it's like this. I believe that the various agendas that people have become emotionally involved with.
Yes.
Okay. You have the black agenda, you have the white agenda, you have the everybody else agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and we all fit in emotionally where we can. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama chose to
Oh my God.
become emotionally involved
No.
in
I disagree.
gays,
Can I say-
I am
transgender
equivocally
bathrooms.
Can I say something real quick?
disagree.
Now, because of that, he knew about police brutality. This is not new. Racism, that's not new. But he poo-pooed that, okay?
Did you say
And
poo-poo?
this is why the pot is boiling over. You
Wow.
have put people in a corner. I'm not,
Wow.
I do not condone what has happened with these police
Wow.
officers, and I'm totally sorry, okay?
Wow.
But people have been pushed
So-
in a corner.
All right, let me say something real
Okay.
quick. Okay, first of all, you're a grown man that said poo poo. Check yourself.
It's the
One,
truth.
that's one. Two,
Wow.
two, when you say black agenda, white agenda, it makes it sound like they're all the same. There's a black agenda because there was a white agenda. Our agenda is counter to their agenda.
Wow.
Right? So when you say agenda, it's not
I'm
all
saying
equal.
they're
It's not all
black
the same.
problems, they're white problems.
No, I agree with you
They're
on that.
Chinese problems.
And I agree with both of you where it seems to be this notion where like you have to be on one side or the other. Like the situations are not mutually exclusive. I can
Right.
feel
Right.
sympathy for the black guys that got killed.
Right.
And I can also feel sympathy for the cops that got killed.
Exactly.
And I also agree with you as far as violence is not the answer. Like
No,
it's
it's
not
not.
what's gonna happen is we're looking for revenge, so things are going to happen. Then they're going to look for revenge,
Right.
and then more things are going to happen. It's just
Right.
going to escalate until somebody at some point is going to be like, all right, I'm tired of whatever's happening, and they're going to pull it back.
Yeah.
But I will also say this: spare me that peace talk, because Martin Luther King taught peace, and where did he end up?
I understand that.
I'm just saying it's a convenient point that people like to make to distract from what's really going on.
I'm saying that this issue should have been. You cannot stop a white man from. You cannot force a white man to like a black man to like a Korean. You cannot force that, but I
Right.
can force you to do your job right, or
Right.
you won't have a job.
I
Okay.
agree.
Police.
Okay.
This should have been addressed a long time ago.
Okay.
Right, before Obama, like this police brutality
Right.
didn't just happen because Obama
I mean,
got in
Rodney
office.
King happened under whose watch? Let's go
Was that
all the way
Bush?
back.
That was Bush senior, right?
So-
Okay. And
so
if you're
let's-
saying watches, then we cool.
You know, let's go all the way back.
We're cool.
We're
because
not
this
And that was the
happened
one that was caught on
Barack
video.
Obama's-
Let's talk about the ones that weren't caught on video.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Malice Green in Detroit.
Exactly. Amadou Diallo.
Right.
You know, those are things that have gone all the way back. This is not a new problem in terms of brutality, especially when it comes to aspects of race. So the issue that I have in terms of what it looks like today, the issue that I have is, number one, I take issue with the 24-hour media cycle of it being sensationalized. Number one.
I agree.
I take issue with that because for every shooting that they show, there's 10 shootings that they're not showing.
No.
Okay? For everything that goes viral, there's 50 things that are being swept under the rug. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And these things become a litmus test of how we're going to message people. Okay, and I'm not speaking peace or whatever, what have you, because these things do need to, reform needs to be addressed.
Right.
Reform needs to be addressed.
All right.
But what I am speaking to is this, in terms of agendas, okay? When we're looking at agendas, feel me on this. Just let me have like 2 seconds. We're in an election year. And in an election year, what always happens is, instead of dealing with, the real core issues that matter to people in terms of jobs, the economy, foreign policy, stuff that's actually happening, what your dollar does.
Right.
They find these little niche social BS issues.
Like abortion and stuff.
Abortion,
Right.
bathrooms, this to rally people around,
Yep.
to incite you to, rally behind your party, because those people are trying to take something from you. And we're a country of us and thems.
Right. But it's easier to manipulate a one-issue voter.
Right. So this has become an us and a them. And it never has to be.
Right.
Because people who believe in justice understand that someone who stopped for a tail light should not die because they're reaching for their wallet.
I don't believe. Okay,
do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I really do not believe that all these shootings are because of cops going around. I'm just going to kill a
No,
kill
but
a black person.
Phil, just understand this.
I hear people say that.
Understand
And
this.
I'm going to risk my job.
No, but understand this. We understand that being a police officer is a risky job. You take the risk when you take the oath to protect and serve, you take on that risk, right? Okay? But what we expect that you have the wherewithal to wear the badge and not fear for your life and have an itchy trigger finger every time you're at a traffic stop.
Let's not act like police. Police are people too, and people have their biases, they have their stereotypes.
Right.
And I was reading some report about the Michigan State Police, where they gave some referendum about them pulling over minorities, because typically, if you pull over somebody who's well-to-do, well, they have the ability to get a lawyer and fight the ticket.
Right.
So more than likely, they're gonna pull over poor people who tend to be more minority based,
right.
And they're not gonna be able to fight the ticket. They might not even show up, and so you got revenue coming in,
right?
And so it's a tricky game, but I'm not saying that they consciously think, okay, I'm gonna go kill a black person, but I think in the back of the mind there are biases and stereotypes, and I think if me and another white guy walked into a store,
right?
I'm a black guy with tattoos, and I used to have braids or whatnot, wearing Nikes and whatnot, they're gonna look at me as a threat. Like, I look different.
Yeah, this is not. I don't mean this, but it's the truth. I've never known any of these type of situations. Nobody was in a suit.
Right.
Nobody was in a suit.
And that's the problem. But
do you need to be?
But
I'm just saying. I don't mean that the way it came out, but I'm saying it like.
I'm going to give you a caveat here. Okay, let me give you a caveat here. What if they were?
Yeah.
What if the next next incident that does happens to a gentleman in a suit?
It's already happened.
But do you feel what I'm saying?
No, I feel you.
How does that make it any worse or any better? The thing that we're dealing with is we have to deal with reforming the way that people deal with situations so that they can de-escalate the violence when they're on the job.
But what kills me though is that whenever these guys get killed, they immediately go to their history. Like the last guy, he had traffic tickets. Oh man, stop the presses, right? But yet, we don't go into the history of these other cops. Some of these cops got history of being abusive and aggressive,
or drug use in their
Say
history,
that, though.
right?
But you can't say that though.
Just to cut you off for a sec, my apologies. We got a caller on. Caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Wayne. I'm calling from Toledo.
Wayne.
Hi,
Called
Wayne.
into the show many times. How are you?
What's going on? You doing good? How y'all doing today?
Pretty
We all
good.
right.
That was good.
What's on your mind?
I just think, today it's a terrible day to be black. Sometimes how you feel when you wake up in the morning. It's like it's hard to put in words to what's going on. I definitely don't think, the response and what people are doing as far as killing cows is the answer.
Oh
That's
my
definitely
God.
not the answer at all.
not.
But it definitely, today, I really don't even know how to put in words what's going on these days, especially by having a young son, only 7 years old.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to think about what's going to happen to him, but let alone it's hard to think about what happened to myself sometimes, It just is. Today it's a sticky situation, and there's really no real way to confront it.
Do you feel important? Are we important?
We are, but they don't treat us as such. You know what I mean? Because without us, without our ideas, without our labor, it would be no America. It would be none of this. You know what I'm saying? All the great ideas came from us, like point blank.
Well, can we get to a place
There's no
where
other way to sugarcoat that.
I just feel like our money's important. That's all I think.
can we get to a place where it's not a us versus them type of thing though?
Y'all trying. Y'all definitely trying with all the interracial
think so.
commercials, with all
don't think
the
so.
interracial shows. They
How's that?
definitely trying. There's
I'ma
another
tell you-
agenda, the interracial
But-
I'm gonna
agenda.
tell you why we can't. Because in order to do that, you have to first admit that there's a problem, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't want to admit there's a
Yeah.
problem.
I
So we
agree.
can't even get this. We can't even get to B because we can't even get past A.
I agree.
Okay.
My thing, but why do we have to get over anything? Have they gotten over Holocaust?
I'm not
When
saying
have you
over it. I'm just saying, can we get to a place where it's not a battle?
I'm saying, but look at the same situation with the Jews. You know what I'm saying? You hear about every time something comes up, it's Holocaust. So it's like, why must we get, you know what I'm saying? Why must we get past? How come we can't, have that time, but to really?
So
She-
the
you know
black
what I'm
agenda
saying?
has been pushed aside.
Do you?
Other agendas have been put to the forefront.
Is that what you're saying?
It's hard, brother.
I hear
I
you.
really don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So, have you ever, in your own personal experience, have you ever experienced like being profiled or being harassed?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
I know Wayne. I've profiled him. And I apologize.
You profiled me.
Real quick, I got a quick story. Just recently, I was driving, and I made a right turn, and I got pulled over. And the lady pulled me over. She said, I asked her why did she pull me over. She told me that I made a wide right turn and that I had headphones. My headphones that came with my iPhone, the white pair of headphones. She told me that was illegal in the state of Ohio. I said, I've never heard of that in my life.
Well, it is Ohio,
Yeah.
so
Show
She
me
said
the
you're driving with
law.
those
Show
in your
me
ears.
that's
That's illegal in the
it's
state of Ohio.
Ohio. Everything's
That's
backwards
wild.
down here.
I'm gonna go here. I agree. I'm gonna agree with that.
That wouldn't happen in Michigan.
I said, wow. So, I mean, I hadn't done anything illegal. I was riding, but I had made a correct turn. I was in the car with my son. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes, they just pull you. I have gotten profiled too many times to account. I fit the description on too many occasions.
No, I agree with you too, and I also think too, being a cop, it's like a power trip. Like for some guys, it adds like 3 inches to the penis, and like they just, what I'm saying, like all of a sudden now they just big badass.
Sorry,
can't-
kids.
I can't.
No, yeah, for the 2 children that are forced to watch the show,
Wait.
probably Daryl's children.
Wait. It does what now? It's what?
I'm just saying, like the badge, like it just adds like inches to the dick, and like
There
it just,
is a.
I just
I do think there's a.
I don't know what it does to the women, but
There's a macho thing that comes with being a cop. I do think that.
it's a power trip.
I also think that when you get. Say what now, Wayne? What?
Yeah, there you go.
This show just went
these issue
X-rated.
vibrators they get.
I love calling in with you guys, but I got something else I got to do real quick.
Thank you
I got
so
to
much for
start
calling
calling
in. Thank
You're
you
not
for
getting pulled
sharing.
over right now for being on the show, are you?
Thank you for sharing
No,
that.
definitely not.
Cool.
I'm,
Good.
Thank
I'm
you.
actually about to get my geek on, man. I'm going to go check out Ghostbusters.
Oh, don't waste the
Alright.
money. Don't waste the money.
Don't.
Don't waste the money.
Cool. Take care, man.
For sure.
So I think that when you enter the state of Ohio and you start to hear those banjos,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
it's not.
That's
but-
the official state song, by the way.
But you know what? With all the stuff that's going on, I have a relative that's a policeman, and we were talking, and all the Dallas thing happened, and I
Yeah.
said, so he's going to be in full riot gear at the Republican convention.
So
And I said, I hope everything goes well. He says, we're expecting the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Now, I said, well, it's going to, hopefully things will calm down.
No, this is. I think this is part of the.
This just happening Sunday. Wow, it didn't calm down.
I think this is by design, and I'm not going to lie to you. I really think that they're trying to ramp up in the media. I really think that they're trying to ramp up the hysteria surrounding violence, so that they create the atmosphere for a showdown at the Republican convention.
Can we get rid of this notion that the media is like journalistic? Like it's all information.
No, yeah,
it's infotainment. I mean,
yeah, it's infotainment. No, I mean, let's go. A few years ago, Fox News, they actually won a court case stating that they don't actually have any journalistic responsibility to give you news.
Right.
It's actually it's classified as an entertainment channel.
Right.
It's not a news channel. I mean, look it up. If you think I'm lying, look it up. Go on your Wikipedia, go on their website, and look at the about. It is a entertainment channel. It's not a news channel at all. They will give you, they'll give you information in that it surrounds news events.
Right.
But the meat and potatoes of what they give you is opinions and punditry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see, so I think that what's happening is they're creating this hype, and they want this big showdown between the protesters, like Black Lives Matter, and the people who are protesting the RNC itself for all of their ugliness and all of the things that they've been accused of supporting this year in this season. And I mean, you can speak to that whether it's true or not.
Well, I just hope that things go well. I mean, tempers are hot.
Right.
And that is I was born in Indiana, but I mean, I was raised in Cleveland. So, of course, I don't want anything to happen in Cleveland or anywhere else in the world.
The outset of that, they're also expecting those who support the RNC to create this united front against.
Because I would like to be down there and tout
the protesters.
For Trump. I want to tout for Trump.
This is gonna. They expect an armed conflict. I do think that they expect an armed conflict, and they want to present Trump and Pence as this strongman duo.
Who, the Republicans?
That's what they want.
Well, he just
They
said
don't even like
he
him.
just
That's
said that
what they want.
Obama's clueless to what's going on and how we're divided. But we're almost on time. We got to get a caller in a bit. But to keep the show moving, any other last points on this? Because we can talk about this heavy subject.
Yeah. I just want to make one last point. As far as, because I've seen a lot of people say, "Well, Black Lives Movement is like the KKK," and I'm like, no, because they like to point to a couple knuckleheads that do some, retarded shit out there. Excuse my language, but it is what it is. And point to that as if that speaks for the entire movement, right? And it's like, no, like that's not the same. And when I say Black Lives Matter, I don't say that, my life matters more than yours. It matters as much as yours, but for whatever reason, because I'm Black, I'm seen as less than or as a threat, and I get treated differently. That's all we're saying. If it mattered, we wouldn't have to say it. So, so that's just all I want to say. Like, like context and nuance seems to be like a thing of the past. Like people talking memes, they talk in like, in statuses instead of having these long, thoughtful conversations. Like, you're not going to talk about a complex conversation like racial profiling or whatnot by, a tweet. No. Like, that's not going to happen.
140 characters just won't cut it.
It's more complex than that, but it requires thought and it requires rationale. And so people, they tend to just make these. Am I taking too long?
No.
Am I bothering you?
We're beefing over something.
We're crossing things out.
God forbid we don't get to Pokemon. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm beefing over something.
We're trying to, because of time restraints, we're trying to see what can we take out, what can we put in. Okay, but
you know what I don't want to talk about.
Entertainment. We got anything to keep it moving? Anybody got anything on entertainment? So you did.
See, I watch Game of Thrones.
Let's talk about that. Let's do it.
Okay, Game of Thrones.
I do. I'm excited.
I watch Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones.
I am excited.
You know who doesn't watch Game of Thrones?
Who?
Camille.
I watch Game of Thrones. I'm excited that they're once again leading the pack for the contenders for the Primetime Emmy Awards.
That's what time they started getting good, though.
I know.
23 nominations.
I know.
23 nominations.
Season 5 was whack, but season 6 was.
It took 'em.
Yeah.
To be honest, here's the thing about Game of Thrones. Full disclosure. Only reason I started watching it because I needed something to do at work.
Yeah.
Right? And
that's sad that he just said that, but go on.
The first one, like, here's the thing about
The
Game of Thrones.
first 2 seasons were sweet.
No,
the first 2 seasons was
don't believe
sweet.
that. Do not
The
believe
first
that.
2 seasons
Game
was
of
sweet.
Thrones. Here's the thing about Game of Thrones. The reason it was sweet because every week you had to figure out which main character was going to die. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it was about.
Do not become
Yeah.
attached to
Storyline-
any of those characters.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
storyline was wigwag, right? It got to the point where I was just like,
Sean
I've
B.
invested this much time into it, so I
Yeah,
might as well
stop.
see it through.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. It's kind of like Stockholm Syndrome for sitcoms.
And I'm glad that I can
Right.
appreciate
I'm moving
nudity and violence just like anybody else. Okay.
The Daywalkers. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's
However,
what you love.
they have gotten more into the story, awesome cinematography, those
Yeah.
dragons, the budget.
They want the greatest.
It's phenomenal. And
The
they don't
dragons
even
want the
talk about
greatest.
them White Walkers. Don't even bring
I
up them
am-
White Walkers.
Don't bring them up.
I am
so stunned by that.
I am a fantasy book nerd, so
Oh, that
this
makes
is
a lot.
sweet to me. So, this
Wow.
is I'm excited for season 6 to be up for Emmys. I would not preempt anything in terms of what we're talking about because that was such a heavy.
Season 6, was this season 6?
This was season
Season
6.
6 was good. It's about time. It took them 6 seasons to put out a decent 10 episodes.
Man, I'm telling you what.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you what.
God forbid. Like, here's the thing about Game of Thrones too. Like Breaking Bad, I could go back and watch that thing over and over,
but
right?
not
I
season
could
1.
not-
But yeah,
yes.
it's
I
Breaking Bad's
cannot
very
go back
good.
and watch Game of Thrones. Some of those episodes were hard to get through the first time.
Man,
Well,
listen.
I mean-
If you like gory, if you like a lot of gore, which I do, if you like,
What?
I do like gore. It gets gory.
That just seems so counter to what I thought about you. I'm
no, I
telling you,
do.
that's-
I like it gory.
I felt like my image of you was just being shattered piece
Is
by
it
piece.
bad? Is that bad?
No, it's not. It's not bad.
I'm sorry, but I like it gory. I do to watch, but it's good.
Wow.
Like,
Well, I got one too.
it's like you watching Leave It to Beaver. All of a sudden, it gets like turned to like
Yes.
Cinemax. It's
Right.
like, oh, whoa, what?
No, but
What was I watching?
Yeah, but I love that, man. So, also today's national holiday.
see, that's what I was gonna skip.
No, this is
See,
the,
that's what I was gonna
Please
skip.
go to it.
No,
this
Why
is
not?
not. This is not from me.
Why
This
not?
is
This is not
on
true.
the internet.
That's not a thing.
Which one are you going to?
This is not a real thing.
the
That is
national the national
If she
holiday.
doesn't wanna do it
for
because
the
he's
day
here.
It's
Is
not a thing.
forgive your husband because he cheated on
It's
you.
not a real thing. That's not a thing.
It is on the internet. It's out there.
Her
Forgive,
spouse is here, by the way.
Mr.
so-
Miller, that is not a thing.
That's-
I'm afraid that's not a thing.
forgive your husband because he
No.
cheated on you.
No.
Listen.
No.
I honestly believe
No.
that monogamy is unrealistic.
I honestly believe you're going to get
listen,
jacked up when you
If-
get home.
no, I'm saying
Does your wife watch these shows?
no, I'm saying how can you expect for somebody to be married for 40 years and they've had no kind of infidelity or kind of issues in their marriage? That is ridiculous to me. Okay.
She better get that snap back, I'm telling you.
So when issues come up, if someone has cheated on you, that does not institute, okay, we have to get a divorce. Lower your pride, stay together for the kids, and move on.
He's gonna go home and all his antiques are gonna be smashed up. Like
Dude, I told you the story. I'll come over here.
Bruh.
Don't touch my antiques.
Bruh.
If you got a problem, punch me. Don't touch my antiques.
You know what? I'm gonna. Okay, I have to put out a service announcement. Nothing that is said over here
forgive your
reflects
husband for cheating. Dad.
what
Oh
is-
my god.
reflects the sentiment of the entire show.
I'm just telling
Okay?
you what's out on the internet.
That's what. It's not true.
What internet sites do you go to?
He
Well-
going. You heard the.
I hate to see this
You
phone
heard
history.
the online show. You
Yeah.
heard the online show.
So, Rashone, you have some stuff going on, right?
All right, yep. So I guess since I'm a part of the show now, I kind of wanted to put my fingerprint on it. So I wanted to call this thing This Week in Stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, it's obviously there's a lot of real shit going on right now. You know, some
Right.
deep, heavy stuff, but there's also some like weird, funny stuff going on out there too. So just to lighten the mood, just a little bit.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, this is the funniest thing. All right, so I'm just gonna stick with this one. Georgia mom who drunkenly played naked twister with teens avoids jail time.
Wait, how? What?
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw this story, I'm like, awesome, like, dude, like, why nobody ever invited me when I was a teenager over to play naked twister? All right,
But that's somebody's mama.
that's made it even better.
No.
That's made it hot. You know what's funny? Before I get into the story, is like all these stories about these teachers having sex with teenagers.
Yeah.
And it's just like every dude is going to he's going to either agree with me or just stay silent. And if he's silent, that's because he's agreeing with me in his head.
That's not true. What?
Every time one of those stories come out, the dude is either like in his mind high-fiving whoever the teenager was that had sex, or he's secretly jealous that it didn't happen to him when he was a kid.
No, but wait, watch
guarantee
this.
you.
What if you went to a school and all the teachers was ugly?
Wow.
That does bring it down a bit. That does lower it, but still,
Yeah.
you do get points. You do still get points for bagging somebody of authority.
I don't know.
Dudes look at it different. Like chicks, like a male teacher versus a girl, and a female teacher versus a boy. Boys dream about that. Like boys dream about either the mom. You go back and look at every '80s movie.
I know, but
That's where the term MILF came from.
But it's like they
Is there a
look good, but they look good.
Answer me this: what is MILF? What does MILF stand for? Have you ever heard of DILF?
No.
Right, exactly. Because no females daydreaming about somebody's father. But every dude is either dreaming about the hot teacher, the hot principal, the hot librarian.
Well, I mean, because
All
men,
my friends' dads look
men are
like-
dogs, and as we grow up as puppies,
There are some
there
are some female dogs.
are going through
there
puberty
are female
in
dogs.
the classroom.
Don't
So-
trip. There are female dogs, and
Here's the
there's
thing,
more
though.
of them now than ever.
Check this out. But when it happens to a girl, though, like the girl eventually tells him, "I'm like, oh my God, Mr. So-and-so, he did this to me, right?"
No.
Here's the thing about the dude. They never tell. It's usually a friend.
Let me tell you something.
No,
These
look,
chicks
it's
is
usually a
treacherous.
jealous friend, right? They tell one too many people, and they like bragging around. They tell that one person they weren't supposed to tell, and that one kid goes back, "Hey, mom, guess what my friend Brendan did to Mr.
I'm
So?"
gonna tell you what.
And that's what happens. That's how it ends up
I'm gonna
with the
tell you
teacher getting in
what.
trouble.
These chicks out here is treacherous. These young girls,
Hey.
y'all got the game messed up. These young girls is out
I'ma
here.
tell you like this.
These young girls out here getting their mama's rent paid.
If you
I'm
are-
telling you.
if you are a man-
y'all playing games.
If you are a man listening to this show and you disagree with what I said, it's probably because your wife is sitting next to you or your significant other. Like, it's okay
But
to lie to me.
Naked Twister,
Don't lie
she
to
didn't
yourself.
get-
All right, so check this story out. So, an article written by Tracy William Cohen. She decided to put her middle name in there
Say
for
what,
no
what?
reason. Tracy William Cohen for Complex. The notorious Georgia mom, I guess this isn't her first time.
Wait, what?
Notorious Georgia mom who allegedly hosted a booze party for teenagers that included a totally nude round of Twister has escaped jail time. She's white, by the way. So.
See,
Rachel-
he brought color up. I didn't.
Well, I'm just
I
saying,
didn't
if
do
that was a
that.
black mom that played Naked Twister,
She be in jail.
she might even make it to jail. Rachel Lionheart was reportedly sentenced to 6 years of probation. Rachel, who's 35, must also pay $600 in fines and agree to drug and alcohol treatment. Rachel reportedly first confessed to the incident during a conversation with her Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor.
Wait, what?
Of course, she's an alcoholic, right?
Oh, wow.
The party allegedly involved underage drinking, weed, nudity, and Rachel having sex with an 18-year-old party attendee. So at this point, I'm looking at the story, and the only thing I see she's guilty of is being a good host.
Hi, my name is
Poland.
Rachel, and I'm an alcoholic.
And I had sex with the teenagers and played Naked Twister with them.
Hi, Rachel. We love you.
I know you my new best friend.
Wow.
Like, I'm making out with her. Police at the time said Rachel admitted to lewd acts in front of the group. You can only imagine what that was. With Rachel alleging that she eventually fell asleep and awoke to her daughter's 16-year-old boyfriend having sex with her. Wow.
Oh, my God.
Something tells me she didn't put up much of a fight.
Oh, my God.
Rachel also admitted to showing pornographic images,
Oh, my Lord.
including, check this out, showing her daughter photos of her and her current boyfriend having sex. So somehow she was able to take selfies of her and her daughter's boyfriend having sex. That sounds hot right there.
See, everything that you're saying, it's like I'm seeing the
You get the
boat
visual?
going down the river
Oh, my God.
of everybody going to hell in a handbasket.
What? As if Darryl. Okay, so you mean to tell me if he was a teenager at that party, you'd be like, I can't stand for this. You'll walk out.
I would have left. I would have walked in there and I would have saw alcohol.
You know
There's alcohol served.
You know when you would have left? You would have left after the game of Nick and Twister, and you probably would have left after you had sex with her.
No, okay, this is what I want to know. I want to know how all those people at Alcoholics Anonymous at the meeting after she shares, okay, and y'all going to have coffee and cookies.
I can tell you what every dude there was doing. Every dude there was like this.
Wow.
I can't deal with that.
I tell you what, we got our first caller on the line.
Is it Rachel Longhart?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Oh,
Okay, so what we're talking about today, we got to go to our topic.
Caller, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Is this a dude or a girl?
Okay, we're good.
This is Zeb.
Okay.
Zeb Welborn.
What we're going to do, let's introduce the topic so
Yep.
we know what's
Absolutely.
going on. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, we're getting ready to get into today's topic, what it takes to be successful in business. Entrepreneurs to corporate. And hopefully when we're getting into it with our guests, with our guests, we'll be able to talk about what they're getting at, what their businesses are about. Takes communication, professionalism, thinking outside the box, and looking at how long you're willing to go that extra mile to achieve your long-time goals. The word here on our outline is sellout. It's not being a sellout.
What?
Or what you actually have to do. Let's talk to Zeb and get his take on what it is that he's doing.
And just to give a little background on Zeb, Zeb is the chairman of the board for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Nice.
He's the organizer for the Southern California Charity Golf Classic and the author of the book entitled The Social Golf Course.
Cool.
Zeb, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And we got a lot of things going on in the world today, so we did not get into each of our points on business, and because each of us have our own business that we run, basically, but we didn't get into that. We'll get into that after we speak with you. But as you know, today's subject is what it takes to be successful in business, entrepreneurs to corporate. First off, how long have you been podcasting?
Well, I want to say I started podcasting about 3 years ago, maybe 3.5. It's called the Defining Success Podcast. So I did that for, I don't know, probably about 115 episodes or so. I'm actually on a little break. You mentioned that I'm the chairman of the board for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. And that's a very time-consuming gig. So I haven't actually posted an episode in about a year, but all the episodes are still up and live on my Defining Success Podcast.
Nice. I want to talk about the book, The Social Golf Course.
That's a great name.
I do like the name. How did that come about, and where did that come from in terms of your experiences? Tell us a little bit about how that came to be and your journey.
Sure. Well, the book came from a lot of different things. Part of it came from the podcast. Part of it came because I was doing social media for golf courses. And part of it was because some of the guests that are inviting on, like you mentioned that your topic today is about success in business. And that's kind of what my podcast was about. So I was reaching out to people who I thought were successful in business. And some of these people that I came across were in the golf industry. And so I invited them to come on my show, and through that, I kind of built these other connections, and one of them was with a guy named John Ski, who was the author, or who was he owns a website called greenskeeper.org, which kind of reviews golf courses here in Southern California. And I told him I had this idea for writing this social media book for golf courses, and he was on board with it. So he and I decided that we'd, kind of bang our heads together, and we co-authored this book called The Social Golf Course, which teaches golf courses how to effectively use social media for golf.
Okay, so in terms of that, where exactly are you finding the most success with the book itself and with the podcast? How has that been received?
It's kind of been interesting. I wouldn't say that one or the other has been more successful than the other. It's all kind of part of the journey, I've had the Defining Success podcast has led me down certain paths that I've followed, just as the book has. So before I wrote the book, I was working at one golf course, and this golf course, they got a new general manager, and the new general manager wasn't the guy Right? He said something like, this social media thing is never going to last, and so he decided not to use my services.
Really?
And so I ended up getting 2 other golf course clients, and that kind of got me pumped up and fired up because I knew how valuable social media was and the kind of results that we brought for the golf course. So that's what kind of prompted the book.
Yeah.
Before I wrote the book, I had about 3 golf course clients. Now I do about 14, and the work that I was doing for those golf courses beforehand were on a very minimal scale, and now we're definitely, before it was just kind of Facebook, now we're kind of doing all digital marketing. In the golf course arena, we're doing very well as a business, and then also, that's just in golf. That's only one aspect of my business. The other aspect is I do social media and digital marketing for small, medium businesses as well.
Now, Zeb, I got 2 points. One, I know somebody who is terrible. Well, I wouldn't say he's terrible. He's so at business, but he is an awesome golfer.
Okay.
I mean, so when I saw this title, I was like, man, what a great title, because there's a lot of business that happens on the golf course. But you were alluding to the fact on being somewhat on what you're doing to remain successful. Can you give more info on what have you done to remain successful?
Well, I work hard. I work really hard. It's kind of like I work all day. It's like they say when you're in online marketing, it's kind of like you can work whatever 80 hours of the week you want to work. So I kind of do that. I work the 80 hours of the week that I want to work, and I just put in a lot of work to make sure that I'm learning. I'm constantly learning, constantly growing, and then as my business does make revenue, I'm kind of putting that revenue back in the business to help it grow even bigger. We just hired a new employee the other day, which really helps out a lot. So that's kind of the things that I've been doing to help keep the business going and make sure that it keeps growing and I'm growing and that the business keeps growing.
So do you have any advice for somebody who would want to be starting their own business, let's say a social media startup?
Their own social media startup? Well, I'd say it's learning. When I first started, you kind of think that you jump in, you're like, I kind of know everything that there is to know about social media marketing, but it's so all-encompassing, and a lot of people, I mentioned that I hired somebody. I brought in a lot of people who have said that they know how to do social media, they're kind of ready to go, but when it comes to doing it for a business, it's totally different. You have to really be willing to learn and adapt to what's going on, because it's constantly changing, so you need to be constantly learning in order to stay on top of it.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, where can people reach you to find out more about you and your business?
Well, they can reach me a lot of different places. So I've got 2 main internet marketing businesses. The 19th Hole Media focuses on golf. If you look up 19thholemedia.com, that's my website. That one focuses purely on golf. I've got Welborn Media,
Okay.
my last WELBORN, media.com, and that's for small and medium businesses.
Awesome. Now, to listen to your podcast, I listen to you on Stitcher. Where else are you available?
I know for sure we're on iTunes. It's kind of been a long time since we set that up, so I know for sure iTunes and I guess Stitcher apparently, and there was another thing, there's the UR Business Network, which I'm not sure is still around, but we were on there as well. So but probably just type in Defining Success Podcast and you'll find it in the. I think we kind of set it up everywhere, but I'm not sure.
You said you don't still do them, or is that something that you do on a regular, or you don't do it regularly anymore?
I don't do it regularly anymore. Once I took over becoming the chairman of the board for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce,
right.
kind of had to give there. So I put it on a hiatus. I'm thinking of bringing back doing podcasts again at some point in the future. I think it'll probably be a different. Like you mentioned, what advice would we have for the marketers? I think it might focus more on that, where I do speak a lot here locally, and so getting the questions of people that have the questions that come up.
I was going to say, what kind of stuff do you do for the chamber?
Well, I'm the chairman of the board, so I kind of run the chamber, at least for the year. I'm the one kind of in charge of the direction of the chamber and how it's going and stuff like that. So that's what I do for them.
Cool.
Wow, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, thank you so much for taking the time to call the show.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best in the future, and I'll be in touch.
Appreciate
All right,
it. We
sounds
appreciate
good.
your time.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Zeb.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye now.
Well, I just want to take the time to give us a window to talk about business with each other.
Yeah, we didn't preface that at all.
Right. Well, because Zeb was on time restraint, so
Right.
now we're going to go back to the part where we can, we usually talk about the subject amongst ourselves. And when you made the mention to sellout, that was there because of the fact, I'll label this my atomic dog story. I was in production, and but I was at the highest point in this production area. So it's either stay there or move on to better things. So they had a company function, a Christmas party or whatever, and you know how black people, when it's a white event basically, and there are a few black people there, we always sit together.
Oh, Lord.
I didn't want to do that. I sat on the other side. Okay, the atomic dog came on, and the black people that were there, they all got up at this corporate function and they danced a little suggestive. I didn't dance off the atomic dog. I like the atomic
What's
dog.
suggestive? Can you display?
Lord.
Well, I mean, they were the way.
Can you show our audience?
They were dressed a certain. I don't know how to do those dances,
Dog.
but
I just wanted to see if you can get up and do it.
So, I mean, when you go to a corporate function, there's a certain way to dress.
No.
Okay, there's a certain way I feel to carry yourself.
Okay.
So, they said, "Hey, we playing atomic." They played the atomic dog, and they went crazy. I just sat down.
What year was this?
Now, people played the atomic dog last week.
No, nobody played.
Okay, so what happened was, a gentleman walked over to me and says, "We would like for you to consider being in the sales program." And I was like, wow. So they were watching me. They were watching me at the party. If I would have got out there and danced
Oh, my
off
God.
Atomic
I don't
Dog
think that
or had
that's
on a red
something.
suit with red and white
Oh.
gators,
Yeah, yeah.
they may have judged me and said, "You know what? He's not the type of guy we want in the sales program."
But you said it was a party, right?
Well, you know what?
Did anybody pull out some naked twister?
No. So I'm saying,
You know, I've always worked in like those kind of corporate environments. And I do agree that there is a certain decorum for certain atmospheres. I do agree with that. However, you can always be yourself
absolutely.
in those environments. You don't have to conform. I don't think that it's
Why are you looking at me? What did I do? What did I say?
I'm just trying to imagine you at a party and they playing Atomic Dog and you not go out on the dance floor.
No, I would not. I refused. I mean,
I can't imagine it.
I mean, you know,
that
me
DJ,
myself.
I just was like, why is he playing the Atomic Dog? But anyway,
But
I
here-
was very
because-
upset
Because here's the thing, you know.
because he didn't play Getting Jiggy with it for me.
Oh my Lord.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we know what year it was.
Oh, my God.
We know what year it was.
No, it was like
Yeah, I know.
It was
It had to
like,
be like
it was like 2 years
96.
ago. No.
Right.
Getting
So
Jiggy is appropriate at any party.
okay, so
No.
but there's a time and a place for everything, which I do agree. And no, red gaiters is probably not proper attire for a corporate party. I would probably say.
Red Gators, yeah, I mean, yeah,
And
absolutely.
like a cranberry suit is
Right.
probably not.
Well, what if you work at a Red Gator manufacturing company?
Unless you work
There you go.
at the red
Okay,
gator.
it's okay then. Okay.
Could you imagine?
It would be
And just
expected.
looking at that pop you brought, could you imagine Fago's Christmas party?
I'm glad you brought that up. Like, what is your aversion to like red Fago? Like, I just do not get it.
I just don't.
He's so caught up in the name, he just
I-
refuses to taste red Fago.
It's delicious.
I know.
They
won't admit it
they
to
did
me
not
or
take the
himself.
time to name red pop. Red is a color, not a flavor. They have strawberries
Obviously
on
it
it.
is.
They have
Obviously it
strawberries
is.
on it.
But it's not
Call
called
it
strawberry
strawberry.
Fago. It's called red Fago. What does it say on there? It says Fago Red Pop, not strawberry pop.
I don't.
I'm gonna go into my corporate experience.
This is a segue.
We're gonna digress way back from Red Pop. My corporate experience is this: I've always been the only in an environment, and it has been very difficult in terms of really proving myself. And I've always felt like I've had to do double the work to prove that I'm half as good as everybody else. And I'm I've always felt like people look at any type of achievements that I have accomplished as something that was, given to me by virtue of some sort of quota or affirmative action, or whatever. But I know for a fact how hard I work. I know for a fact the kinds of relationships that I've developed. And since leaving the industry, I've been able to keep those relationships and still maintain contact with people who have had helped build my career.
Now, I understand what you're saying.
And that to me speaks volumes to what it is that I was able to accomplish. So that to me is kind of like it was very hard in the corporate environment being the only.
Being the only what? Why can't you say it, CNN? Being the only what?
CNN.
Being the only sister in the room.
Okay.
See, I don't know what it's like to be corporate. I don't think I could fare well in a corporate environment.
I've never been in anything.
If you don't think that they look at these, there is a 1 black limit back then, and there's a 2 black limit on television shows now. But there are issues. If you don't think that they look at HR looks at that stack of resumes and they see Shaquanda and
I'm not gonna lie. I named my children very, very ethnically non-specific.
Yeah, my daughter is too.
Absolutely, your daughter said a beautiful name. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I haven't had any corporate experience, but I've worked in places where I was the only, as you, Carmen, so eloquently addressed.
Because you're very strong. You probably count as 2.
Who, me? Was that a fat joke?
I can't tell.
No, it's not.
What
a
the
fat
hell?
joke.
Okay, so because you're skinny.
No, you're very strong.
Okay, yeah, right. That's how you meant it.
No, I don't know.
You're so full of shit.
No.
What's your experience?
Where me, I can be half. You know what I mean? Oh, Lord. I don't make any trouble. I don't want any trouble.
Oh God.
I can't untuck my shirt. No, so I've worked in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And I was the only black guy there, and I felt like it was one of the first times where I actually felt black. Like you feel black, it's like people are like looking at you like you're some type of rare exotic animal that they've never seen before.
Right, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, and it's just.
Can I touch your hair? I want to ask you that.
No, you know what? I purposefully did that. I used to purposefully do that. I used to purposefully change my hair every single week. I would change my weave every week.
I think he legitimately wants to touch my hair. That's fearful. I gotta ride with this guy back to my car.
I would do that.
Lord knows what's gonna happen in our car.
I would
the way
do
back.
that every week, and I would get the question every single week.
Absolutely. That's
You're under suspicion.
No, that's why I said that because
it happens.
It happens.
No,
it does.
I know it happens, but the way you said it, you sounded like you was serious.
I was at.
He's gonna make a stop.
He's
gonna stop at some store on the way back to my car and pick up a board game of Twister.
I'm gonna need.
But it's good to have those relations, especially when you feel safe and comfortable enough to talk about how do you do your hair, why do you use lotion, you know what I mean. So it's good to have to. I understand it in the corporate world.
I feel like females get that more than dudes.
But I'm gonna.
Oh, a lot of people ask me why. How does your skin remain glow? It's glow. Shea
Who
cocoa.
told you your skin glowed?
Shea cocoa butter and Eucerin. What?
I'm gonna say this. That as I grew with each environment, as far as the companies that I've worked for, the camaraderie that I've had with the people that I've worked with, I've never left a situation with a bad relation. I've had one bad experience with a coworker in my career. One.
Do not call HR.
Just one.
Okay. Don't be that person.
I've only had
Try
one.
to work things out.
No, I've really in my whole career I've only had one, and that was this lady, this ancient crypt keeper lady who was born in 1872, and she was much too old to be working, and she was just like decrepit. And when I walked in the door, she told me, she said, "I remember when they wouldn't let people look like you in here."
Well, despite all that,
but
how did you remain successful?
Just kept my head down, did my work.
I'm I'm still tripping on the fact he said Eucerin and cocoa. Like, was it you just like make this lather out of both of them, or is it like layered?
Well, you can, you
Like
can
you
just
use the one first, and then
one part each.
I'm just
I'll
imagining him picking his concoction, just rubbing his entire body.
I don't even know where that's going.
Was this before or after Naked Twister?
Wait.
No. But I tell you what, now, Rashone, you, believe it or not,
What's that?
by you being the host of the Sneaker Box podcast, you are running.
He said it right the first
You are running a business.
Yes.
Yes, by virtue.
How have you remained successful? You and this is the thing that differs. Not only have you been podcasting for a significant amount of time, you're dealing with various people, because if you don't think that those people have egos, each one of them, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing, and you have to be able to mesh that. How have you been able to be successful?
Well, I mean, it's a number of things. I think one, I told you this before, like, sometimes I think people have this way of going into business and trying to be too scientific and trying to be too organized.
Yeah.
I just kind of went in and just like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to just go ahead and just do this, right? Like, I'm just doing it. And, of course, there has to be some structure along the way to be successful. But I try not to overthink it. I try to just think about what I want to do and how I just want to get there. I don't try to, like, trying to format and trying to plan for stuff. I kind of feel like the Joker in, like, The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Like, the thing about plans is when they don't go right, people lose their minds.
Right.
So I don't really plan for anything.
Okay, but I watched you prior to even considering to participate in the Full Circle podcast show.
Right.
You are very organized, at least from the offset. I saw you.
No, I mean,
and
it's
so
funny you say that.
I'm organized, but I saw you sit back to organize your show. So you're not winging it.
Oh, a lot of it is like, here's the thing. We have a format. We have a structure, right? It's kind of, we do have a flow to the show, right? But at the same time, we try not to be too stringent, because I think that sometimes that burns people out because they're so focused on the science of it as opposed to the essence of it. Yeah, and so, like I said, you got to have some structure, right? Like, I did get an LLC, I did get trademarks. We do have a format to the show similar to what we have here. I think too, well, in the terms of my podcast, is having the right people surround you. To be successful. You got to have people, first of all, if you're going to be the leader, you got to have a vision, and then you got to be able to relate that vision to everybody else, and they have to be on board. They have to also see it too. The guys I have on my show, they've been there for a while, before the money was coming in, before we had sponsors, but they was able to see the vision. They saw the goal line. Right. And when people can see that, it's easy for them to get on board and be supportive. Juan, Nathan, a.k.a. Truth.
Hey.
So those guys saw the vision. They, put in the work. We would show up, and we had me and Juan argue all the time. All the time. Like, me and him get to, like, these fights, and then, like, seconds after, it's like, all right, where are we going to eat? Like, it's just, we're over it, and it's good to have that, I think, because it kind of iron sharpens iron. Yeah, definitely. And I know for him, at least, this is he had this dream to do something like this. So I know how much it means to him. So when he, comes at me with something that I might not necessarily agree with, I don't look at it as him as a challenger, him trying to take over anything. I look at it as he's invested. Right. And he wants to see this thing be successful too. So he has ideas, and it's just a battle of ideas. I end up winning because it's my thing. But, but I think in business, though, I think you have to have a plan. You have to have a dream, a goal. You have to have people around you that also buy into that goal. Right. And you got to have I told you this when you first started your show. The thing about when you try to do something successful is people always tell you to do what you love. And that sounds so cliche, because it's like, okay, you hear that a million times. But when they say that, it's because a lot of times people get into it for the money, for the notoriety. Right. They get in for the wrong reason. So when it doesn't happen in the way that they think it should happen, or as fast as they think it should happen, they drop it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I call it putting the sunglasses on too quick.
Oh my gosh!
When you love it, you stick with it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And you see it, and then you also put that extra something into it because you actually love it.
That's right.
It's just like dating somebody. If I'm dating somebody because they're cute, well, I don't really love you. You know what I'm saying? You're a trophy. But if I actually love you, gonna do the small things,
Go
like
that
buy you
extra mile.
flowers and think
Yeah.
about you, call you and ask about how your day is going.
Wow, cool.
So
You sound like a real user. Now, Carmen,
it's obvious I don't wear lotion.
Carmen,
As ashy as I am.
as
right
you being an entrepreneur, how have you remained successful?
You know what? That's actually a lot of what you said goes into what I put into my music. One thing that I've learned, a very, very wise person who mentored me in business told me that successful people create more opportunities than they find. So instead of waiting for people to book me for shows, instead of waiting for people to sign me to a contract or anything like that, I went out and I hustled and I created events of my own, saved my money, booked a venue, threw a party, played with my band, charged people to get in, earned my money, earned my stripes, built my fan base. And from there, the more successful that I was at creating my own events, I was able to get booked at the clubs and build my following from there. I played with a band for a long time. I was told years ago that I would never get paid to sing in Toledo. So many times people would book you for exposure and they wanted you to come sing for free. And I'm like, you know what? There's only so many for free
Right, I agree.
that you can do. And, people say that your gifts will make room for you. And what happens is so many times when you do think that, it's supposed to happen one particular way, or you're supposed to get famous before you're 25 and this, that, and the third. I never wanted to get into it just to be famous or anything like that. I love to sing.
Right.
I would sing I would be the most famous person in my living room. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If I want to sing, if I love to sing. The business aspect of it was learning. And I taught myself. I am my team. I'm the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I'm the web developer. I put the events out on Facebook and social media, Pinterest, wherever the devil, Google. What I do my own little advertising and all of that. I do my flyers. I do everything. Okay, I don't pay other people to do it because I don't want nobody to blame, and I don't want nobody to pay. So.
Wow.
Right now that's the most economic way for me to do it and to build out. Of course, one day I want to be, build out or whatever. But, if you hustle for it, and you pay your dues at the low points, you do get to build out. So, for example, there are places that I've played where, it's to 25 people in the room. Okay. Then there's places that I've played to 2,000 people in the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't get to the stadium if I didn't play the room. And too many times people want to be in the stadium, but you call them to play the room and they're just too big and too wonderful to do that.
Right.
But if you don't have any hustle, then you don't have the stamina to make it to the stadium.
Right.
Well,
I
yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
If you can, and see what people think it is, a lot of these singers out here, they think it's just getting in the booth and singing some songs. No, it is 3 hours a night with 30-minute breaks between sets, 3 nights a week, and sometimes 4. It's coming to the studio 4 days a week, recording the same song over and over and over and over again, sometimes the same line over and over and over again until you perfect. And then you have a product,
Mm-hmm.
Too many times people don't want to do the perfection. People don't want to perfect things. They want to just throw something together,
Yep.
And call it whatever it is. That's why you don't have a Whitney Houston. That's why you don't have a Sade. That's why you don't have
Michael Jackson.
a Michael Jackson or a Prince of this
No, I
generation.
said
Thank
Michael
you for
Jackson.
inserting
I
that.
said Michael Jackson.
Yeah, of this generation.
Could have left it at that.
It's
But that goes back to the love, though.
Exactly.
Right.
You got all of this 5-minute music that in 20 years won't mean a thing.
I agree.
Wow.
You know?
I agree on that.
I guarantee you, 20 years from now, you could play Man in the Mirror, but you won't be able to play Lifestyle.
Right. Wow.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I admire what you do and how you do it, and you remain professional. I've always bragged about your professionalism. And when you were talking about hustle, and our caller should be coming in a minute, but I'm just going to briefly say hustle. I learned how to hustle in Harlem when I was selling my first book. Mm-hmm. And a gentleman walked up to me, and they're like, like 200 people selling the book. A person got $20. They came buy everybody's book.
Right.
He said, "You got 1 minute. Tell me about your book." You know? And I was just thrown off. I'm just thinking I can put the books up there and everybody's just going to buy it. Mm-mm. No, okay? So I learned how to do what I do, how I do it. I learned how to be professional. I like to pride myself on being professional. I like to pride myself on being a communicator. So, I mean, when I started doing films, and you're saying you're the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, you wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
You have to have people skills. You have to have organization skills to be successful from my aspect, you know. But our caller is on. Caller, you there?
Yeah.
Hi there.
Matt Smith, how are you today?
How's it going? I'm good.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good.
Matt, I'm going to give an introduction on Matt. Matt is a business owner of the Vape Juice catalog, the co-owner of several other businesses, including Driven, Megaton Music Festival, and Iconic Threads, rock apparel. Matt,
I think I need to know you, Matt. Hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Awesome. I think the big one right now is Revolver electronic cigarettes.
Okay.
oh,
The big one right now.
you know what? I know. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So very, very busy. I got to ask you, how do you juggle all this? How do you do this?
You really have to, I guess, just kind of, you have to want it. You know, it's a totally different lifestyle, and it really does consume you. But you do learn to live with it. It takes somebody with a lot of patience and a lot of drive, and you do have to sacrifice a lot of things. One being family time,
Right.
two being your own personal time. You know, ask me when the last time I got to just sit down and do something for me. It doesn't really work that way.
Right.
Now, Matt, you have a full-time job, correct?
Yeah.
And how many children do you have?
6.
Say what now?
Trying to start a band?
Yeah, we're starting a band.
Oh my goodness. So tell us about that. How is that with the juggling of your time? What does a day in the life look like?
Well, it starts when you get up. You check emails. You have to communicate with a lot of people throughout the day. You have to, obviously, if you have a day job, you work it, but you never stop thinking about your businesses.
Absolutely.
Even like when you're cleaning up after the kids, you're thinking, what am I going to do today, or what's going on in your industry that you need to worry about and focus on. And and one thing too is that you don't really want to necessarily focus like in your industry as much more beyond like what you're going to do within your own business, because
Right.
you can get hung up on a lot of things like what everybody else is doing. So that kind of, it distracts a little bit. So you want to just keep like that clarity in your thinking and make sure that you stay focused. Otherwise, it can really drag you down and you'll get burnt out and exhausted. But I think business, entrepreneurship, it's like the new drug,
Yeah.
Once you get a taste of it, it's so addicting. You just want to keep going at it.
So like
That's how
lasering
I-
in on what it is that you do. So when you say like, kind of tuning out the outside the outside noise of your industry, just making sure that you're focused on what it is that you do.
Right, and it's really a good thing to be competitive, and I think that, like myself, I'm very competitive on every level, you know, whether it's amongst my peers, you know, or, you know, my kids versus, like, the other kids who I want mine to, obviously, you know how it is. If you're a parent, you know, you want your kids to be the best. And it can be, like, the littlest thing, too, like the little tiniest Facebook post, like, look what they did, you know, and that's what you need, you know. The competition aspect,
Yeah.
it drives you really, you know, because if you don't have that goal, like, why are you doing business? You're doing it for the money, you know, do you want to win? Do you want to be the best? You know, I think if you don't have that aspiration to be the best, then you're really never going to take off. If that's the drive that pushes you. So, you know, that, I mean, what else?
Wow.
There's so many things, yeah.
So what do you think success looks like to you? What does success look like to you?
Success, to me, is being happy. So it doesn't matter, that you have a business, that you get rich, or you make enough money to get by. To me, personally, it's that you're happy doing what you do. You know, you can work a day job, you're not happy, but you start a business doing something that you're into, you know, be it vaping or clothing, then, you know, it just changes everything. You feel so much better about waking up. And then all the work that you do and all the time that you put into it, it makes it that much easier. So, and it does have its ups and downs too. You know, I wouldn't want to, like, preach, like, all the good things, because there's a lot of bad things that come with being super successful, or, you know, taking it a step higher than mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
Revolver, when we started online, and then we grew actually nationally before we even started growing locally.
Really?
Yeah, so we got to experience a different level of success that everybody else is, you know, experiencing now.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that, you know, we've seen and we've done and we've encountered, and it's been an amazing journey, and one that, you know, I'll never forget, and one that really inspires me to do something else or to keep going.
Okay, so
But-
let me
Yeah.
let me get out of the cookie cutter questions, because everybody always gets the, you know, we gloss over, you know, the ups and downs of the business or whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you as far as starting out, when you decided that you know, I want to do something entrepreneurial, when you stepped out on faith to do what it is that you do, what was the worst thing? What was the most crappiest thing that's ever happened?
There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of things that I could say to that. I don't know which one's worse or what the worst ones are, but, I mean, there's been bad things along the way, and so maybe I can just, like, offer up a couple, like, tips. So, for example, I think the main thing is that if you have a family, that the only way you're ever going to be able to do it is to make sure that you're with somebody who shares that vision or can support you and back you up with what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have somebody who's not really feeling it, then it kind of like...
It's a downer.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's like resistance to what you're trying to do, and it really, like, it really burns you, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Remember Rocky's wife, she goes, Rocky, you can't win. when your wife, somebody you're with doesn't have that faith.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, wow, I understand.
Yep, it's a really good thing too to network, you know, as
Yeah.
far as like meeting new people, but also to kind of be a bit humble with who you talk to about what,
Yeah.
you know. And one reason I say that is that, and it might sound like, yeah, right, you know, but a lot of people say that when people come into money, they change. But I've watched everybody around me change,
Wow.
you know.
Wow.
And it's hard, yeah. You know, we didn't grow up with money, and, you know, I certainly, you know, didn't take handouts, and everything that I have, I built from scratch on my own.
Huh.
So we started the business with $1,500, and then within a couple of years, we were making a few $1 million in revenue.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, hard work got us there, but I'm working hard, and the people around me they don't see all the hard work I put in. They just see the
they see
payoff.
Yeah, people see the pictures. They don't ever see the behind the scenes.
Or they
People,
see the baby, they don't see the labor.
right.
Right.
Well, you
And then,
did that very professionally, because I can imagine. I know the things that I've gone through. I know Carmen knows the things that she's gone through,
Man.
and Rashone. So I can just imagine. And I'm just talking a couple $100 that. So wow.
Yeah. Also, if you have a full-time job, don't let your boss know.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Because then they don't think that you need that job,
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Or they think that you're goofing off at work.
Right. Yep.
Whatever. So yeah, absolutely, I agree. When I get Facebook requests from my bosses and things like that, I'm like, oh, geez,
Well, everybody's kind of supportive of my thing.
They have.
They were.
You know
for
what
the
was
most part.
bad when I first started singing, and I would go out and be out, playing in my band, and then everybody from work would be in the audience.
Wow.
It would be everybody from work. It would be
Well,
crazy.
what you do is when you're getting in trouble or you come in late or something.
Oh
you
yeah,
give
they're
them
like,
coupon
oh
codes.
yeah, well, you must have been out partying or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You give them coupon codes,
Ah,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's 30% off for you.
Right.
I wasn't late.
Man.
So
yeah.
I tell you what, Matt. So where can people reach you to find out more about you and your businesses?
You can go to our website, which is revolversig.com. That's RevolverCig.com. We're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, even Google Plus. Same tag, Revolver Sig.
You should have a Carmen Sig.
Ah.
You should have a Carmen Sig. I'm cute.
Well, that cool, man. We really, really appreciate your time and your insight.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
Anytime.
you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
So thanks
Yeah,
for calling the show, and I'll be in touch. Okay.
All right, sounds good. You guys have a good time. I'm going to go watch the Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We yeah. That's one thing that we talk about. Where you at now? Where you at? What
What
season?
episode?
Season 3.
Oh, okay. No
Episode
spoilers. No
I just talked
spoilers.
to you.
Somebody dies.
I just talked to you, and you were at
Oh,
season
man.
1.
That's
You got all the way up to 3.
Somebody dies every episode. It's not a shock.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Right.
There's dragons.
Hey, well, that's cool. Cool, man. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, guys.
You want to know something about the spoiler alert? So just since we're talking about it, like on our show, we kind of talked about it too. Like every now and then, like talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And we bring it up like maybe a week later, and like it's always that one person like, oh man, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'm like, my bad, it took you 7 days
To watch it.
to catch up. Like, what's the length that I can actually talk about
I
the
don't
show
know. I don't know.
without
You
it
know
being a
what?
spoiler?
What's bad is after the season, and it's like people who are just now catching on to where it's.
And it's like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to talk? Like, I feel like a year from now, if I was to talk about season 6, somebody like, I haven't watched it yet. Like, spoiling the show.
I just think it just goes hand in hand with anybody who likes Lord of the Rings.
I do.
I don't.
He told me.
told you I'm a
What did he
nerd.
tell me?
I'm a-
What's the
I'm
one
a
with the
total-
magic?
Harry Potter is
Harry Potter's better than Lord of the Rings. Are
I'm
you
not a
serious?
Harry Potter fan.
I watched that stuff. I paid
I'm not a
for
Harry
that.
Potter fan.
Harry Potter is killing Lord of the Rings.
I'm not a Harry
No
Potter fan.
way.
But you know
I
what?
wasn't either until I watched it.
No, I'm gonna
Did
tell
you
you
see
why.
the dragon?
The Harry.
And what?
I'm not Harry.
What is up with
the
you and
Death of Smaug?
dragons?
Did you see that dragon?
Desolation of Smaug.
I
And,
smell you.
It could be the
I feel
simplest
your
CGI,
breath.
and he
Yeah,
is so
Oh
impressed.
my
I'm gonna
God!
tell you
A
what.
talking dragon?
He is so impressed with computer graphics.
I
It's
tell you
ridiculous.
what, with me, I grew up on Tolkien. I was a Tolkien nerd. Now Harry Potter is some newfangled. That's my kids' generation. That's their what's her name? The chick that wrote Harry Potter.
I don't know. He knows that I don't do Harry Potter.
That's
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. I was about to say.
Just the
Evil.
fact,
People
just the
know
fact
who
that
she
he,
is.
just the
What's-
fact that he knows that
what's
his
bad
street
is-
cred should go down.
What's
Oh,
bad
please.
is what's
Okay.
bad is I was about to say E.L. James.
I'm telling you.
That's hello. How are you?
Carl, are you
Very
there?
good. How are you guys?
Very good. Very, very good.
Is this my guy Kenny Young?
This is Kenny Young.
Hi, Kenny.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me today.
Hey,
Thank you for being on.
All right, now listen.
Lord, we about to go
I've
there.
always told you
Man.
that the Full Circle Podcast Show, we try to bring you the best guest. I have to say this. Out of every guest that we've had,
Wow, I'm sitting there.
this gentleman is I'm honored to have him on the show because of the fact that
Hi, Kenny. How are you?
Wow.
as a filmmaker, but I wasn't a filmmaker at that time. I love independent film, all types of independent film, but I love black independent film as well. But you have to go through 20 or 30 of them to find that one gem. And this gentleman,
Are you for real? Are you
wrote
like
that
really
gem.
offended?
I'm just trying to figure out,
No.
like, is it because I joined the show that I don't count before?
No,
or-
you count. I'm saying.
I'm sorry,
talking
Kenny.
about
I didn't mean to cut off into your
from
interview.
a filmmaker perspective.
Oh, it's cool.
No, because I used to be a guest on the show too. So for him to say that while I'm sitting here, I'm taking
No,
some
no,
umbrage
I'm
with it.
saying that from
Feeling some type of way.
Yeah, I am.
because he does film
He
at a
was being
higher
my eye
level.
and said it though. He
at
was
a high
like
level.
the best guest we've had on it. I'm like,
Well,
I'm sitting there like, what?
Well, I'm saying this makes it all worthwhile.
Kenny, I have heard so much about you as far as the particular film entitled 1 Week that changed Darryl's perspective on film and basically his life as a filmmaker.
And it got me together
Wow, it's a
on
huge compliment.
Seriously.
it got me together on the repercussions of having unprotected sex.
I will hope so, brother. That's really what we were going for too.
I'm actually honored too. This is really kind of, my introduction to what it is that Darryl appreciates about film was by watching 1 Week. So definitely.
And
Oh,
see,
wow.
and see how things
Right on.
happen with the connection because of the connection with Jody Joe Williams. He hooked me up with Sadiqa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sadaka.
Sadaka. Why do I
Way to get her
always
name
say
right.
her name?
She must have been really
Sadaka.
important
Used
to
to
you.
it. Yeah, no worries.
Sadaka.
And
Good job, Darryl.
she was the female lead in 1 Week. Now,
She was on a few weeks ago.
Kenny has worked with Jill Marie Jones, Jennifer Lewis, Joe Torre, Tony Rock. This brother has been busy. So, man, welcome to the Full Circle Podcast Show.
Yes.
Oh, well,
welcome.
thank you guys again for having me. I feel honored to be on the show. I really like what you guys are doing.
Thank you. So tell us about you and filmmaking. How long have you been a filmmaker? Tell us all about your journey. What's going on?
Wow. Well, I started I'm from Chicago. I started in the Chicago theater scene as a kid, like in elementary school. And I did some of it through high school, but I really reconnected with theater heavily in college. And the particular college I went to, Columbia College in Chicago, is like an arts-based school. And a lot of the filmmakers, a lot of the guys, the students in the film department would come to the theater department to recruit actors for their student film. And that's when I first was bitten by the film bug. Because before that, it was strictly theater. I started strictly as an actor. And when I started working on the film shorts with the students, that's when it really bit me. So I started auditioning for films in Chicago at the time, and I was, auditioning for like gangbangers, thugs,
Lord,
the garbage they send us, right? So I thought, man, I could, do something. I could write something better than this and the stuff I'm working, auditioning for. So one of my frat brothers at the time, Carl Seaton, who actually directed 1 Week, we started working together, started writing short films, and we started shooting short films, and then just the natural progression of us shooting short films, we thought we wanted to do a feature film, and that's what led to 1 Week. We wanted to do a story that, one, we could afford to do, so we couldn't have, like, shootouts and car chases and things like that. We needed something that could be sort of plot-driven and character-driven. Mm-hmm. And both of us, for different reasons at that time, had taken HIV tests. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it was like you had to wait 2 weeks for the results. I mean, this was a while back.
Wow.
Now you can get them in, like, 2 minutes. But back then, it was like a 2-week wait, which is, we just really sweated it out, we thought that'd be a story that people could really relate to about just taking the test. And we wanted to give it like a ticking clock, so give something like the B story was he's getting married around this time. So it's a week before he gets married. He finds out that he might have contracted HIV and has to wait 1 week for his results.
Wow.
Oh my God! Just thinking about that, man, it's like watching the White Walkers on HBO all over again.
Right.
Get on that. The White Walkers.
Unbelievable! Wow.
Right on. Whatever works.
So in love with the White Walkers.
Now, you said something in relations to the business that you do that really stuck with me. You know, me as a independent filmmaker and an author and things like that, I keep my 9 to 5. I am devoted to my 9 to 5. What I do is a hobby, and I love podcasting, but all of it is a hobby until it pays the rent. So that is my primary focus. But you spoke to a friend, and that friend told you to give their child some advice as far as acting. Remember that story?
Hey, my child is about to graduate from theater school. Can you give my child a job?
Oh, sure. Does she have a reel? I mean, yes, send me your stuff.
You know what? I can't wait to be famous.
It's a
so I can't
him.
wait to be famous so I
Hey, you're
can say
famous
that.
already, brother. You're already famous.
You know what?
I will.
No,
Look,
this
I
is
will.
what-
I'm
this
not
is-
playing with you, Kenny. I'm serious. I'm gonna send you his reel.
Kenny, he's famous for the wrong reasons.
When you famous and you got some things going on, you have to say that. Oh yeah, well give me a call and have that person. You're just trying to get out the room safely. Yeah, send me your demo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm
No, send me the stuff. I mean, I can't guarantee.
No, but I'll email you. I'm for real.
But I would definitely like to send. Check it out.
I would text you my email address.
But tell me about that advice that you gave me. Now listen to this story. What did you tell him?
Okay,
Kenny?
well, a friend of mine called, and he has a son who's an actor who wanted to major in theater in college. He's going away to college.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend wanted me to tell his son the importance of having something to fall back on. And I told him I was the wrong person to give that advice because I personally don't believe that. I don't believe you should give yourself something to fall back on. Because if you give yourself a plan B, that's going to take energy away from plan A.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a story a mentor of mine told me. Well, if you guys ever watch Biography, they did a show once on the guy who was like the greatest tightrope walker in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he did
Nick
eventually
Melinda.
die falling off a tightrope, but he was like 90 years
that was
old when
worth
he
it.
finally fell. Yeah, he was real old when he finally fell.
Yeah.
And he said that he learned to get so good because he trained without a safety net. Because he learned how to do it without a safety net. If you have no safety net, then you're forced to give it 100%. If you know I can fall off and still be okay, some people will still go 100%, but most of us would slack off a little. So I think you have to give it 100%. And I personally believe anything you give 100% to is going to happen for you. It may not be what you thought it was, but it will indeed happen for you.
All right.
I respect that. The first time I heard you say that, it just threw me off because I was like, oh man, I've never thought like that.
I was guilty of that. I was guilty of telling my kids, be practical. Make sure you have a decent plan B. Go to school to get the education, that, and the third. But at the same time, I'm sitting here pursuing my dream because I want to let them know not to give up on a dream. And then I just decided probably about 2 years ago. My kids are my oldest son just graduated college, and my younger son is in college now, and my daughter just started. And I was like, you know what? Forget that. You out there, live your life to the fullest. Dream and dream big.
Well,
You
only
know?
thing is with me,
You got to go for it.
No,
when you're
Serious.
young,
Because
you
you got to
can
live it.
think and do like that. But as I've matured, I started thinking the importance of health benefits,
See, I know about health
well,
benefits.
see,
medical benefits.
I
will-
do know about
I know
that.
about that too. But,
will-
I mean, you still have to go for it. I mean, you still have to.
Well, you
You have to
better
believe
look. You
in
better
it.
go
And
for it
I'm
while
not
you
gonna
healthy
say
and
it-
young. Because when you get my age and you get bronchitis.
here's the thing. Here's 2 points real quick to what y'all just said. One, I kind of agree with Darryl because it's like my plan B is a 6-figure job. So
Right.
I mean, but I
No,
have that
why
luxury.
you gotta put that out there? But anyway,
It's called stunting.
because the women that look at the show go on.
Oh, what? How much
They'll
is
be
it?
like, look.
Yeah, because I'm gonna hit you up with some money. You got it.
But no,
I saw what you put on
you saw- I
Facebook.
got it.
You
But
got
also too, I do like the analogy he used. But it's just funny to know that the guy eventually died, like falling
See
off the
there.
tightrope.
But he was 90 though. He was
Yeah,
like,
He was
Yeah,
nice.
he fell off.
I mean, that's a good run.
That's the point. Like he fell off.
he ain't die of old age. That's
He
why.
unnecessarily died on a tightrope.
Now,
Well,
Kenny, also
why you
where
still on
I
a
respect,
tightrope
I
at
have
90,
respect for
though?
anybody
Right.
who lives in
Sit down
California.
somewhere.
I have respect for anybody who lives in California. I got some close friends who went to LA and they came back with their tail between their legs. They
LA
say, "Look,
is a
dude,
monster.
$60,000 a year, it ain't gonna cut it in LA or whatever." You know, I'm sure that everybody don't make big money, but
Right.
the cost of living is high. So what's your motivation? How have you remained successful?
Well, that's a good question. Well, first, I think you have to define success for yourself. Many of us sort of gauge success by what we see other people doing.
Right.
And that's unfair to yourself because that's not your journey. So, for me, being successful is making my living telling stories. And I think what motivates me the most is a true love of storytelling. I mean, as a little kid, from being told stories, that just always energized me. That gave my life a purpose and a meaning. So to pursue that and to be able to get paid, whether it's a lot of money or a little money, like my nephew was talking to me. He said he wanted a job that paid a lot of money. My advice to him was, do for a living what you would do for free.
Exactly.
Do what you love doing. Because no one can pay you for your happiness. And if you love what you do enough, you're going to do it so well that the money will come. So you can't really, and especially as black people, you know, we're pumped with fear like so much of our lives. Like, you got to be practical. You got to have this fallback on. You have to do that. When really everything you want is right in front of you. The only thing stopping you from what you want in this lifetime is you. That's the only person that can truly stop you. So you can't gauge your happiness, your success by money or things like that. It's just about, you know, whatever gives you that sense of timelessness. Like you go to a dope party and you're there for 3 hours, it seems like you're there 3 minutes. That
Right.
sense of timelessness you get, you know.
Yeah.
But think about being on a job where you might be there an hour and it feels like 10 hours because you just don't want to be there.
Right.
Right.
You have to figure out what it is that you love to do. And most of us are already doing it. We just have convinced ourselves we can't get paid doing it.
Uh-huh.
Wow. You know, because see, with filmmaking, with me, because all the people that I assemble myself with, they say, you know, I tell them this is a hobby. I love this, but this is a hobby. And they say, Darryl, we wish that you didn't think that way. And you have really changed my perspective on that, because now I can put the project together, but the marketing that is involved afterward. You know, there are a lot of people with the modern technology. Everybody can get a camera. I've spoken with,
Absolutely.
you know, they're like, everybody's a cinematographer now,
Right.
and this and that. But once you put all that together and are able to market that film, whether it's in film festivals or whatever the case may be, just the fact that a person can live off of this type of life, being an actor or a filmmaker, I'm just floored. I'm just floored. Even if I got a big film gig, I would be like, well, can I still work at Chrysler? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I like what you said about, you know, your perspective on what you think success looks like. I really do, because so many times people confuse, you know, the, you know, multi-million-dollar lifestyle with what the only way that success can look.
Right.
You know, my thing is, there's people, you know, they think that being, you know, let's say a success in music is just the making of records, where you could be a success in licensing your music for TV, or you could be a success in
Absolutely.
doing commercial music, or you could be a success in doing music for soundtracks or whatever. And that's what people don't think of, the bigger picture. You know, they only think of music in one way, or they think of success in movies as just, you know, the TV show, or just the, you know, they don't think of movies as in like the informational movies for businesses. They don't think of the, you know, training movies or whatever that people make or produce. I mean, there's so many ways and so many things that, and aspects of the business that people aren't looking at. And people
Wow,
are
you hit
making.
the nail on the head. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, you know, I like what you said about people's idea of what success looks like.
I like what you just said, because that is so true. You have to be, well, for me, I'll say for my journey, I had to be adaptable.
Yeah.
Now, I think storytelling is acting, writing, or directing. I think it's all storytelling. And when the acting was drying up and I was struggling and needed work, I started to hone my writing skills more and more.
Yeah.
And then a hustle I did for years, and honestly I still do it now. A lot of my friends in Chicago who had made their money different ways, you know, everybody thinks their life should be a movie. You know, oh, my man, you should make
Don't
my
nobody
life,
want to watch
make
my life.
a movie.
said, with Denzel Washington playing me, everybody has that.
Don't nobody want to watch me wash dishes.
So people would approach me and say, man, I want to make my life into a movie. And I say, hey, I can write the script for you. I can't guarantee the movie will get made.
Right.
But I can write the script for you. So I had that hustle. Then the word spread. So I had all these people calling me, wanting to pay me just to write their script
Wow.
of their story. So that was a hustle. And that's something I stumbled on.
Wow.
But just saying, okay, I refuse to go to the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
How can I utilize my skills?
That's awesome.
Because talent is one thing. Talent will only get you so far. It's about honing your skills.
Yep.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You know what?
Yeah.
If you started one of those, what was that they called back in the day? It was a pyramid scheme. And you would go, and if he was at that table, I would get involved.
You would get, what was that?
He is inspiring me.
What was the 90s? The 90s had all of the stuff like noni juice and
what I'm trying to say is,
I actually bought that noni juice.
you bring back some bad memories for
oh
him.
my God.
But you're very inspiring, man.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, guys. Well, you guys are inspiring, too. I mean, look what you're doing. I know that had to take some fear to start, put together the show like you have. And I know you have ups and downs. But anything worth doing is going to be a little scary.
Thank you.
If it's too easy, it's probably not worth your time.
You have no clue how what you just said.
That's on time. That's right on time.
It's right on time. So
Yeah.
Thank
And,
you.
you're inspiring more people. That's another thing we have to keep in mind. A lot of times, like, man, I'm not huge famous. I'm not as famous as whoever. But you have no idea how many people are inspired by what you guys are doing. And people will see your thing like, man, I'm inspired to go do the same thing. They're going for it. I can do that too. So, again, that's it. Like, I don't know if you guys hip to Earl Nightingale. He was a motivational speaker who passed away. But his definition of success was the progressive realization of a worthy goal.
Okay.
So he says if you're just working towards your dream, you're already a success.
Wow.
Okay.
Awesome, brother. Awesome, man.
Thank you.
So where can people reach you to find out more about what you're doing? What's going on with Kenny Young?
Okay, absolutely. They can check out my website. That's KennyYoungStoryteller.com. That's one Y, KENNYOUNG Storyteller.com. And James Young Entertainment, that's my company with my producer partner, Phil James. James Young Entertainment, JamesYoungEntertainment.com.
Okay, I'm going to be...
And just reach out.
You know what? I'm going to be sending some stuff your way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or you can hit my personal email, Kenyoto, KENYOTO3 @gmail.com. You can contact me anyway.
Kenyoto3?
Yes, ma'am.
Got
Kenyoto.
it.
That's KENYOTO, 3 @gmail.com.
Well, Kenny, I want to thank you, man, for taking the time to call us, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, man, thank you. The honor is all mine. I appreciate you guys considering me for your show.
Thank you for being so... He communicates awesome.
Very much so. Thank you.
Very
Thank you
open,
very much.
Very personable, cool brother. So I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Keep shining and keep inspiring.
All right.
Hey, appreciate that.
I mean, we will.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Take care, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Man.
I feel like he was talking to me directly inside.
That was cool.
That was good. That was good. A lot of what he said hit home. As far as the, the making sure that, what success looks like to you and being open to be flexible.
Right.
About it.
I'm still floored by what he said. I mean, if I sat back and said, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna focus full time on filmmaking and things like that.
That's what I do.
If you don't have any children, if you don't have a family,
it's easy to do.
It's not.
But when
you know
them babies
what?
looking up,
I'm gonna be real with you. It's not easy now, but that's what I do now, full time. Full time. And I mean, Miller be looking at me like, when it's time to pay bills, he be like, your dream is, hey, how much your dream got on the, he be like, how much your dream got on the groceries?
Well, you know what?
My dream is if you got a job.
I've definitely spent more money than I've made.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say about my wife, she has never said, you gonna write another book?
No.
You're gonna do
he's
another
so
film.
supportive.
She has never stunted.
She just thought it to herself.
Yeah, maybe she
but
did.
you know what?
She never stunted my growth.
No, Anthony has never done that either. I'll tell you what. That's what the other guy was saying. You do need a supportive partner. You need a partner because if they don't ride for you, they will drag you down. If they don't ride for you, they'll drag you down for real.
Like Camille support, joining the show and whatnot. Me and her been watching like old podcasts. Her more so than me. And she was just pointing out. She was giving me pointers like we should try this. And,
dude.
That,
I'm being straight up. You know, we play around. I mean, you joke around stuff like that. I appreciate that. I really do. I know you're busy. I know your wife is busy. I like you both.
That's
and
nice.
Consider you both good friends, and I appreciate that. When I saw her comments and stuff like that, I was like, "Oh, I appreciate that."
I have not been ducking and dodging. My schedule's been jacked up. We all have to get together and do something for real.
Because she asked me, she's like, "You see episode 14?" I'm like, "I told him I did, but I didn't."
We got to do something. We all got to do something. And since we got to pin Miller down, since we got him in the room, we gonna pin him down and get.
We had the barbecue and everything. We had a really good one, and then of course I wanted you there.
I know,
but I was like, well, if she don't come, that's 2 less steaks I have to buy. So that saved
me
money.
Was actually good. The steak was actually good. You know what the problem is though?
What?
I went to this restaurant called Iridescence. 5-star restaurant. Cost us $200.
Oh my god.
And dude, like that steak, like every steak I've had before that was just like forgotten. It was like that steak needed no A1 sauce, no nothing.
I don't do A1. You have one of my steaks come off the grill.
There's a lot of things you don't do.
You don't need.
You don't take your shirt. Let me see. You don't wear cool shoes. Let me see.
I mean,
wait. You grilled? Did you wear the sandals? Did you wear socks and sandals when you grilled?
No.
Right?
It wasn't legit.
No. And he wants to be black again. Like
I do. I want to be black again.
It wasn't legit. You need the socks and sandals.
And my kids. I told them my kids. I'm blackifying my kids over their summer vacation.
You need blackifying.
This will make them watch Roots.
This is an uphill battle.
Oh my god!
Make them watch Roots.
It's an uphill battle because I don't know a whole lot.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I don't know a whole lot. But wow, so
we are at the portion of the show where we come to our apology. And you know what, Darryl, this week, what is your apology?
Oh my.
Well, okay. I'm gonna relate this to business, and the thing about me is I look at life 2 ways. You either on the boat or you're off the boat.
What is the boat? What boat?
The boat is success.
Okay.
Okay. So, or feeling whatever I'm doing.
Okay.
You're on the boat or you're off the boat, and I'm going to keep on paddling out, and I don't have time for people to be like, well, wait a minute or hold up. No.
So this boat has no motor.
No.
You're gonna paddle.
It's like Jon Snow when he was paddling.
Okay, I got you. I seen that.
And he looked back, but anyway. So. When a person or a group has acknowledged the fact that they don't want to be on the boat, I'm gone. It's no love lost. And I may be a little abrasive because I'm gone. So I want to apologize to any people in my past that I may have been abrasive, or they may think, oh, he don't care. I care, but I'm gone because I do what I say I'm going to do.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So there's no love lost, but again, on the Game of Thrones thing, winter's coming, so you have to be prepared.
Winter is coming. Like the summer's about to end up, and fall is coming. So that was a true statement.
So cool.
Every sense of the word. Can I make an apology?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just along with the thing, since he went along with the theme of the show, I want to apologize to any high school teachers, female teachers, that wanted to have sex with me, but didn't because they felt like I was not approachable. I'm sorry. I was young then, so I was a little rough around the edges. So,
oh my god,
it's too late now because I'm married. But I apologize to you. I wish I would have been a little bit more open.
You know what? Since we're all in the
to your advances.
Since we're all in apologizing,
and one teacher had Twister too, so maybe that's what that was.
You know what? Since we're all apologizing, I'm going to go off script and I'm going to apologize.
Carmen has
I'm going to apologize to everybody listening to this mess. Because they clowning.
I guarantee you, one of the people watching this show is like, you know what? We should go get a Twister board. Bring a little spark back in our marriage.
Wow.
Hey,
somebody's hitting the Myers right now to get
see
Twister.
there, they're going to Walmart.
They're getting Twister right now. Twister and some body oil.
You know what? We got to get going. But we want to
Maybe some
thank
weed.
everybody for helping us reach over 500 likes on our Facebook page. Keep them coming. Tell your friends about us. We also want to thank you for sharing our posts with your family and friends. You can always visit us at www.fullcirclepodcastshow.com, and all our info is there, including ordering information on my new CD as well as Darryl's latest book. You can also email us at fullcirclepodcastshow@gmail.com for questions, comments, and if you want to be a guest or even a sponsor of the show or for an episode. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, and thank you. And remember, take a stand for something. You have an opinion. Use it.
Absolutely.
Also, as a postscript, I will be at the Dirty Bird on Tuesday, the 19th. So come check me out. Bye.
Beautiful. Good night.
Shit.
Crime.
Let's get it together.
Education.
Let's get it together.
Marriage.
Let's get it together.
Politics.
Let's get it together. Full circle.
Poverty.
Let's get it together.
Race.
Let's get it together. Full circle.